Have you ever listened to your grandparents' strange stories while sitting around with them? Tales of monsters hiding in the woods, like they had seen them with their own eyes. What if the things we were warned about were actually real? Today, we're diving into 5 mythical creatures that have terrified people for generations. So the next time you find yourself near a quiet lake or a dark forest, look around. You might not be as alone as you think. The first mythical creature we're going to talk about is the mermaid. Mermaids are legendary sea creatures with the head, arms, and torso of a human woman, and the long, graceful tail of a fish. They are said to be very beautiful and were believed to flirt with sailors, not for love, but to lure them in for a massive feast. So, what we see in Disney movies isn't actually the full story. In fact, there have been real historical reports of mermaid sightings. One of the most famous came from Christopher Columbus in 1493, who wrote in his journal that he saw 3 mermaids off the coast of what is now the Dominican Republic. He noted they rose from the sea but were not as beautiful as they are painted. Historians believe he may have seen manatees, but back then, folklore often led sailors to believe they had seen mythical beings. Today, mermaids appear everywhere, in movies, books, cartoons, and even theme parks. Most famously, Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid, published in 1836, portrayed mermaids as romantic and tragic figures. Next are skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are mythical shape-shifting creatures that appear in Navajo folklore. According to the Navajo tribe, the skinwalkers are witches that can transform into any creature. They are believed to inhabit the American Southwest, particularly around the Navajo Nation in Arizona and New Mexico. Initial skinwalker reports in the United States started in 1966, where people claimed to see shape-shifting creatures in the forest. However, there is no direct scientific evidence of the existence of shape-shifting creatures like skinwalkers. The next one on our list is Leviathan. Leviathan wasn't just a myth. It's actually mentioned in the Bible as a terrifying sea monster. What's even more interesting is that it appeared in stories of monsters all over the world. Ancient Greeks spoke about giant sea snakes with incredibly long necks, while in Asia and across the Pacific Ocean, sailors told stories of giant monsters moving through the waters. These people lived thousands of miles apart but described the same creatures. That's probably not a coincidence. Around 60 million years ago, there really was a sea creature that fit all these descriptions. It was called Titanoboa. Like we discussed earlier in the video, it could reach lengths of over 40 feet and lived in warm waters. Some believe it's still out there. In 1959, a picture of a massive snake was taken by Belgian Air Force Colonel Remy van Lierde. He claimed to have seen a snake approximately 50 feet long while piloting a helicopter and photographed it. The picture you're seeing on the screen is photograph taken by Remy van Lierde from helicopter. Some believe it could be evidence of a previously unknown species of giant snake, possibly related to the prehistoric Titanoboa. So maybe Leviathan wasn't just a made-up monster. Maybe it was inspired by a real creature, and maybe something just as terrifying is still living out there. The number 4 on our list is Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman, is a mythical creature that is supposedly native to the Himalayas. This creature is said to be massive, up to 8 feet tall, covered in thick white or gray fur and walking upright like a man. But unlike its North American cousin Bigfoot, the Yeti is often described as far more aggressive. One of the first major reports that caught the world's attention came from a British expedition to Mount Everest in 1921. The team found enormous footprints, human-like, but far too large. Local guides told them, that's the Yeti. There have been dozens of alleged sightings. One monk even claimed to have recovered a scalp from a Yeti. Whether it was genuine or not, the relic became so famous that explorers and scientists begged to examine it. In 2017, researchers tested samples of fur and bone that were claimed to be from Yetis. The results? Most were from known animals, bears, yaks, or wolves. But even the researchers admitted something fascinating. One of the samples didn't match any known species. It wasn't definitive proof, but it wasn't exactly nothing either. The next one on our list is Loch Ness Monster, described as a large serpentine creature with a long neck and humps rising from the water. Some say she is a sea serpent, while others say it's a dinosaur, like a plesiosaur. Loch Ness lies in the heart of the Scottish Highlands, stretching 23 miles and plunging over 700 feet deep. The first sightings date back in 565 AD. The legend was recorded for the first time. A monk named Saint Columba was said to have encountered a water beast in the river Ness. According to his biography, the monster killed a man and was about to strike again, until Columba raised his hand and commanded it to leave. And it did. Fast forward to the 20th century, and Nessie makes headlines. In 1933, a couple driving near the Loch claimed to have seen a massive creature rolling through the water. The story spread like wildfire, and the term monster was officially born. In 1934, the Daily Mail published what's now known as the surgeon's photograph. It showed a long neck rising from the Loch, ripples all around. It looked real. Every year, tourists visit Loch Ness, hoping to see the mythical creature. The town of Drumnadrachit even has a Loch Ness Center, an exhibition dedicated entirely to her. The next one on our list is Kraken. Described as a huge squid with tentacles that can reach more than a mile long. The Kraken can attack ships, drag them down to the depths, and devour the sailors as its prey. The Kraken legend isn't a modern myth. It stretches back nearly 900 years. The first known reference dates to the 12th century, when King Sverre of Norway recorded tales of monstrous sea creatures during his voyages. But it was in the 13th century Norse saga, Orvar Otter, where the Kraken really took shape. In this saga, the warrior otter battles enormous sea beasts, including what many believe to be early descriptions of the Kraken. Later, explorers and even scientists tried to rationalize the stories. Some believed the Kraken could be a giant squid. Others thought it was a misunderstood whale or an unknown species. But no one actually knew the truth. Here's the interesting part. Giant squids are real. In fact, they're known to reach lengths of up to 43 feet. Their eyes are the largest in the animal kingdom, and they've been caught on camera only recently in the deep ocean. And they live in the very areas where Kraken legends began. The North Atlantic. Next time you hear thunder over the ocean, take a look at the sea and ask yourself, is it just a storm, or is something hiding under the water? One of the most scariest one on this list is Gran Maja. Described as a serpent, measuring over 675 meters long, more than double the reported size of the bloop. But recent sightings suggest that it has grown exponentially, with some estimating it now exceeds 6.5 kilometers in length. Its body resembles a sea serpent, with the movement and muscle flow of a massive anaconda. The head is shaped like a stretched-out whale shark, with a gaping mouth lined with yellow, needle-like teeth. 6 small, pale eyes on its reddish-brown, rough skin, arranged in a semicircle. You might be wondering, how has something this massive stayed hidden for so long? The answer is simple. It lives in deep ocean where light doesn't reach. It's one of the most inaccessible environments on Earth, with over 80% of the ocean still unexplored. So for something the size of Gran Maja, it might not be hiding. We just might not be looking deep enough. One theory speculates it's a hybrid, a freak genetic mutation of a baleen whale and an extinct sea snake. But marine biologists quickly dismiss this as biologically impossible. Baleen whales and snakes are too genetically distant, and no known hybrid in nature has ever grown to even a fraction of this size. Others suggest Gran Maja is an undiscovered species, a relic from the Paleozoic era, surviving in isolation in the Hadal trenches of the ocean. This would make it one of the oldest surviving predators on Earth. But for now, Gran Maja will remain mystery of the deep sea. And that's it. We just explored 5 mythical creatures that have captured people's imaginations for decades. Let me know in the comments which one you believe might actually exist. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps and keeps me motivated to create even better content. Until next time.